Hi everybody, I'm LaWanda Clyburn. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm here today to talk to you about a delicate situation that happened to me at CPCC while I was enrolled as a student under the Medical Office Administration program, okay? The reason why I'm making this video is because I don't want another middle-aged African-American woman to experience this, or any Caucasian, Asian, Chinese, Portuguese, Russian woman to experience this. So let me make this clear. Even if I didn't name your nationality, I am concerned for any nationality, any woman, for that matter, any male. Gender is not an important factor. So what it is, guys and girls and women and ladies, friends, family, everybody, because of what happened to me, I began to search a little deeper and realize sometimes your age, your makeup of your body, your skin color, your nationality can play a huge factor in how CPCC's Title IX coordinators and affiliates handle any complaint that you might have towards any sexual allegations against their instructors. So I'm going to go ahead and cut straight through to the instructor's name. Mr. Yogi Singh. He is a medical office simulator instructor, and he also teaches another class there, okay? This is what happened to me. He was my instructor one semester, okay? And the relationship was just as an instructor and a student should be, okay? The next time that he was my instructor, things kind of took a turn, which was discomforting for me. All right, so here we go. Just go ahead and move a little deeper really quick. I took medical office simulation with Mr. Yogi Singh, and at the time, the course was at 6 p.m. to 7:30 time frame, and it was only once a week. And Mr. Yogi would always let us out a little early. If you finished your assignment, he wrote it on the board. If you finished your assignment, you could leave. Because I had another job and actually worked 2 jobs, I would always get there a little late, so I was always late finishing my assignments, okay? So quite naturally, 2 or 3 students left and everything, you know, that's because everybody had finished their work. So moving forward, after about a few weeks into the semester, Mr. Yogi began to start speaking to me and holding a more general conversation towards what else is going on in my life, because, you know, of course, I was coming to the class late and everything, finished my assignments late, so I guess he was expressing his concern from an instructor standpoint. So I didn't see any uneasiness from answering the questions that he was asking me, basically. So everything was soft and subtle. So it was basically, yeah, I'm working 2 jobs, you know, I'm getting here late and I'm finishing my assignments, and, you know, that's it. So time progressed on, and Mr. Yogi began to ask me a little bit more intimate questions, such as, what do you do outside of school? What else do you do on the weekends? What else do you do? What does your life entail? What, you know, at the time I didn't think nothing of it, because he had built the foundation where he can speak to me, not just on a CPCC instructor and student level. So anyway, one particular day, right as class was ending, again, as I mentioned, he always let class go whenever you finish your assignment. You finish your assignment, you get to leave early. Class was from 6 to 7:30, but like I said, I would always be 2 or 3 of the last ones left. So one particular night, Mr. Yogi and I were in a conversation. As I said, he just ask questions in general. So my guard was down. I didn't think nothing of it. So talking about, oh yeah, I can't wait to go home. I'm gonna relax, watch TV. Oh, I'm exhausted. Just in general, okay? The icebreaker. Well, one particular day, after class was ending, he asked if I would walk with him over to the office suite, the medical office suite on the 4th floor at the Levine campus at CPCC, Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, we were in a conversation, so I thought nothing of it. I grabbed up my bag and pocketbook and, you know, walked with him, just as he asked me to. But I was in a conversation and talking, so it didn't matter, you know. And we came inside the office suite, went around the cubicles and everything, and, you know, he just kind of looked over the cubicles. I didn't think nothing of it, but, you know, and I just kind of stood there and we were still conversating and everything, and I didn't think much of anything at the time. But as I'm telling you, these things kind of played back, and I'm thinking about, because of what I'm going to tell you that happened to me, you'll understand why now I'm like revisiting, okay, what happened, what shifted. All right, so anyway, the first time he asked me to walk with him back into the office suite where all the other instructors and everything are. We were just having general conversation, and we probably talked about 10 minutes or so. And then I was like, okay, well, I got to get ready to go. I was getting a little hungry. I've been working all day. At that time, I'm working about 15 hours a day. So I left, and, you know, I'll see you next week. And I ended the conversation, left on out the office suite, went to the elevator, went to my car like I always do. This happened 2 or 3 weeks after this occasion. It was actually a little bit near October toward Halloween. He had canceled class, and I didn't know what happened in that case, but he had canceled class because he said he knew that parents wanted to take their children trick-or-treating. So basically, he had a way with the way he controlled his class. Nothing was consistent. Everything was kind of laid back. So moving forward, on another occasion, Mr. Yogi Singh, he asked me again. We was in a general conversation. Again, I'm one of the 2 or 3 students left in class because I'm finishing my assignment before I leave. And he asked me to walk with him again. He said, hey, you know, we was talking. He said, walk with me, you know, to my office. So I walked with him again. Came out of the classroom, down the hallway, into the office suite, and around over to the cubicles where his desk is. And at this particular time, you know, I felt more comfortable. We're just still chit-chatting, chopping up and everything. And I just kind of leaned against the cabinet, the file cabinet and everything, and he sat down in one of the office chairs and kicked up his feet across me on the left side. And he began to probe a little deeper as far as other questions such as, so how do you wind down? How do you relax? I said, well, you know, occasionally, you know, I might have a, you know, a small, you know, glass of wine or something. You know, my husband gives me a massage, you know, just relax, you know. Again, I'm working long hours, you know, I'm a working mother, I'm a wife, I'm everywhere, trying to get somewhere in life. I'm a middle-aged woman, African-American woman that's wanting more out of life. So I'm like, give him my whole story, and he was feeding into it. So from that question about how do I relax, how do I wind down, what do I do, he began to ask much more serious questions, much more intimate questions, much more like, okay, maybe this is too far from an instructor and a student perspective. He began to ask me, okay, well, when you wind down and you relax, what kind of clothes do you wear? Like, do you know, what do you wear to bed? I wasn't too shocked at first because, again, I'm engaged in a conversation. I have completely forgot about that he is my instructor at this point in time. Because, again, we've been engaging in a conversation on a normal basis once a week, and everything was what it is. I didn't think nothing. So I was like, oh, I wear a t-shirt and shorts usually, just something comfortable. Then he was asking me what kind of beverage do I drink? What, you know, I was like, just Moscato. And then he began to say what he drank, some type of brown liquor. Then he said and occasionally he has a cigar. Then he began to share other stuff about himself, such as that he was single, that he had 2 children, a son and a daughter. And I told him about where I worked at and everything. And of course, he already knew where I worked at from prior conversations. So he was saying that he wanted to keep in contact with me and everything so he could have the up and up about what's going on. Because I work in an educational setting where his oldest son would be coming. So he asked for my number and everything previously. So he was like, hitting on the fact that he will be trying to communicate with me outside of school and outside of school-related things. At the time, I didn't even share it with my husband because I didn't think nothing of it, that it was wrong to be giving an instructor my cell phone number and everything. But then, after this happened to me, what I'm going to get to in a second, my husband said, no, he has no reason to be asking for your number. That's way out of line. Anything he needs to know, he can contact where you work at your educational, job employment, your school facility. He can get all that information. But at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. Okay? Just naive. I didn't think nothing of it. So here we are. The second time that he asked me back there, and I leaned against the cabinet, as I told you, and he had his feet kicked over there. He asked, could he give me a massage? And I was like, no, I don't want a massage. I'm getting ready to go and everything. And then he said, well, I'm not talking about that type of massage. He said, well, but I want to give you a massage. And I was like, okay, a massage. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, you give me a massage. He asked me to massage his shoulder. He demonstrated, he took his hand and he said, like this right here. At the time, he was still sitting down with his feet kicked across. I said, no, I'm not, And he was like, well, can I give you a massage? But not this kind of massage, a different kind of massage. And I'm like, okay, at the time, I'm like, okay, I'm about to just stand up and get my posture. Like, okay, did he really just ask me this question? I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to know what he's talking about. I'm a grown woman. And I was like, well, this was a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I began to turn around and get my purse off of the table and my book, medical office simulation book. And I put my purse on, strapped it on. By the time I turned around, he was standing right behind me. And I guess he's a little taller than my husband. He began to stand right behind me. He was in behind me so quick, I just stood there. I completely froze. And I began to shake. And I could feel his body against mine, his lower extremities. And I didn't know what it was. I'm like, maybe it's a cell phone, but something was hard right here. And he whispered in my ear, he said, I know you like it. Your legs are trembling. I couldn't even speak. I was froze there because I couldn't believe it. I'm like, okay, something's happening. What's happening? My mind couldn't wrap around. I couldn't even process it quick enough that my instructor was behind me with his body, his lower extremities, his penis in my lower back. All of a sudden, I snapped out of it. I woke up out of this nightmare and I left. I left immediately out of the office suites. I left and he yelled out to me. He said, I'll see you next week. And I was like, yeah, like really, I'm not coming back anymore. And then he said, behind that, and wear something more comfortable, like a dress. When I went out of that door of the office suite and got to that elevator, I looked around and it was like nobody there. There might have been one class still in session. And it seemed like it took forever for the elevator to come. And I couldn't wait for the elevator to come. I was ready to go. I went to my car really quick. I went to my car and I was like, should I call my husband? What should I do? I don't know what to do. Everything just started spinning so quickly because it's like, okay, something's out of control. It's out of control. Everything is what's going on. This is the place that I learned. This is the place that I have my social friends from school, and I love CPCC. This is where I'm finishing my degree. And this instructor just came in behind me and pressed his body against me. I completely shut down. So I'm circling the parking lot. I'm circling, trying to figure out what to do. Do I need to report this? What do I need to do? Am I wrong? Am I at fault? What should I do? So finally I get the strength and I stop at the lower level. I go into the security office at the bottom level. I speak to a sheriff. He was directing traffic that showed me how to get to the security office. And he said, do you need to speak to someone? How can I help you? Do you need police or what do you need? And I was like, something has happened. He said, well, is that person still here? I said, I don't know. He said, who is it about? I said, it's my instructor. He said, well, I don't know if he's still here or not, so let's just go inside the security office. So I went into the security office and he was there and he called for a campus, another campus official. And it was like asking questions about what happened. And I was afraid to tell them. I felt like I shouldn't say nothing, but should I say something? I was still wrestling with the fact, like, did I engage my instructor? Did I make him do this? Then I felt guilty by even answering questions that he was asking me about. What do I wear to bed? What do I like to drink? I felt like I brought all this on, so I was like, do I have any right to say that he was wrong for doing what he did? Maybe I provoked him. But I told him the whole story. And by the end of the night, after I finished telling them everything that happened, they told me that the Title IX coordinator be in contact with me about what happened. And I honestly didn't want to see nobody at CPCC anymore. I'm done. As of now, it stands, I got 4 classes left, and I'm telling y'all, I'm wrestling with the fact of trying to go back there. I love CPCC. I had started and stopped college courses several times, but this time I knew I was going to finish, but then this happened, so it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But nevertheless, I've met years of all the struggle and everything that I hear how people deal with situations. I looked into research, and it's like, you got to deal with this, LaWanda. This is going to haunt you. You got to deal with this. You're not the only one. So I'm coming to you today because after months past, this situation has happened. I need somebody to know, another student, another middle-aged woman. It can still happen to you. You don't have to be a young 20-something-year-old fertile woman, a young adult, for somebody to touch you inappropriately, or for somebody to make you feel uncomfortable, for somebody to make you feel like that you have to accept this because your grade is probably going to change differently if you don't allow something to happen. I don't want another woman to feel like the power has been taken from them because Title IX coordinator didn't find any justification, didn't find any type of findings, didn't find anything as to you're the one caused this or they caused this. I mean, just a whole bunch of ruckus. Basically, after I met with Title IX and what everything that happened weeks later, they actually sent me a letter, email back saying that they didn't find any fault. And the instructor, they basically said in short detail that everything was mutual. And they were not going to do any type of discipline to the instructor, Yogi Singh. So I'm sure he's still there instructing. Everything's good. Why? Because he has his bachelor's degree or he does whatever he does for CPCC. His name carries weight. And I'm just a simple CPC instructor, CPCC student, middle-aged, African-American, and there's no way probably that he did make advances toward me. He didn't touch me. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable, nothing. Listen, okay? I'm not sure how many people this is going to reach, but you need to know. You do mean something. You do count for something. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how your age is. People will still judge you because of who you accuse for doing something to you. I felt like that if I'd have been 20 years younger, maybe had blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm being real with you, they would have taken it more serious. So this is what I did. I went to CMPD, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, to talk to an investigator, sexual assault investigator, about what happened to me. Well, guess what? Apparently they must feel the same way. I showed them the report of the findings from the Title IX investigation, and they screenshotted it. And how about later they said they didn't find anything that they could charge him with? Also, because of what the Title IX coordinator put, what they put in their findings, that it was mutual. So I guess CMPD is linked, or they didn't want to touch it because it was CPCC, Central Piedmont Community College investigation. All I know is I felt outnumbered. I felt like that I'm by myself. Just deal with it. Anybody can come up to you and touch you. Anybody can come up to you, make sexual accusations, just do whatever they want to you. But you take it because you're not the right color, you're not the right type of age, you're not the right makeup of your body, or whatever it is. You have to just take it. So that's what I'm left with. I still got 4 classes left, y'all, and I every day fight with the fact that there's another semester starting, spring semester starting, fall semesters coming along, and I don't have the strength, I don't have the mental strength to just go forward and finish those courses because A, I don't want to see that instructor. 2, I don't want to face the fact that I was not valued enough as a CPCC instructor, CPCC student, for them to look into what I said to them. So I'm like, I don't even want to graduate with a CPCC, Medical Office Administration degree. I don't want to represent them. But granted, that's the biggest college around me for me to get it done. And I know I can do it. But it's like I don't even have the hope, the desire to do it. Because I feel like I will be giving them something. And I don't want to give them nothing. I feel like I will be bound down. I will be bowing down if I even go and finish my degree. But then on the other side, it's like, oh, finish it. Prove to them. Prove to them. Prove to them. But you know what? I never wanted to gain anything. When I went and told the security officials what that instructor did to me, that he touched me, he pushed his body to me, I didn't want to gain anything. I just wanted it to stop. I wanted it to never happen again. I wanted somebody to know. I wanted people to be aware that it can still happen to you. So all I'm saying is, don't accept anything that people give to you to make you feel uncomfortable. I don't care who you are. I don't care how people feel about you. So what, you don't look like the typical person that should be sexually assaulted. Do I look like the typical person that should be sexually assaulted? But guess what? I was. I hope this message in this video reaches as many people that it can.